So I'm in my bathroom and I've got a whole lot of personal care products, some of which might look familiar to you. And my question to you is, how much do you actually know about what's in the personal care products that you use and the effects on your health? So for example, would it surprise you to know that 125 ingredients used in these products are actually known to be linked to cancer? So doctors use our body like the analogy of a bathtub. So we have, if you think about a bathtub, you have water coming into the bathtub. If you don't empty the drain and you keep that water going, that bathtub is going to spill over. Our body is the same. We have toxins coming into our body every single day through the air that we breathe. It can be through pollution, it could be through cleaning products that we use, it can be through emissions, it can be through the foods that we eat, and it can also be through what a lot of people don't realise, through the products that we actually put on our skin. So if we don't clear our drains, if we've got more toxins coming into our body quicker than we can actually clear our drains, those toxins are going to fill up, and just like a bathtub, they will spill over, and the impact is that we'll have health issues as a result of toxic buildup in our bodies. So the buildup of toxin is actually the root cause of disease or inflammation in the body. So I'm just putting this graphic up here now, and I'd get you to have a look and see, do you suffer with any of these symptoms? So for example, do you suffer with mild persistent headaches right through to migraines? Do you have any sort of gut issues, things like reflux or irritable bowel syndrome or celiac? Or do you have excess bloating or gas? Do you struggle with an autoimmune disorder? Do you have leaky gut? Do you have any sort of skin conditions, so things like psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis? Do you struggle with anxiety or hyperactivity right through to depression? Toxicity is the root cause of these sort of disorders. So, if you're struggling with any of these things, it could be because of a toxic buildup in your system. So there's obviously lots of ways that we can address that, but one of the ways that we're looking at today is actually through looking at what we're putting on our bodies with our personal care products and making choices that, as much as possible, are free from toxins, so that we're not actually filling up our bathtub and having a spillover. So how do we actually clear toxins from our body? Just in case you're interested. So it's our lungs through breath, our skin through sweat, our kidneys through urine, and our gastrointestinal tract through feces. So if those drains aren't being cleared, our body's getting clogged up with all these toxins, and the spillover effect is the sort of effects that I've just talked about in regards to our health. So, if you're struggling with any of those things, let me know. I'm happy to talk to you more about how you can actually eliminate toxins from your body. But right now we're focusing on how we can try and minimize the toxins we're putting in by choosing safer alternatives in terms of our personal care products. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is our skin is our body's largest organ, and it's a really important part of our body's detoxifying process through sweat. Our skin's also designed to breathe. So when we're putting products onto our skin, it's absorbed into our bloodstream within 26 seconds, and 60% of what we put onto our skin is actually absorbed into our bloodstream. Now for children, that's actually 40 to 50% higher. So more of what you put on a child is actually absorbed into their bloodstream than on an adult. Okay, so if you think about it, from the time that you got up this morning, you might have had a shower, washed your hair, used a cleanser, some body wash, maybe put on some body moisturizer, some face creams, used deodorant. Men, you might have put on some aftershave, ladies some perfume, you might have put on, foundation, mascara, lipstick, put some product in your hair. They say that on average, men use between 7 to 17 products a day, and women use between 7 to 37 products a day. Now, if you're using products that contain toxins, that's a lot of small amounts of toxins that you're putting on your skin every single day that are being absorbed into your bloodstream, that can potentially cause that toxic buildup that we talked about, that can then impact on your health. Now, our body's smart, it will still function, but what those toxins do is it just can also result in the issues that we talked about, but it can just cause low energy levels, like people just really struggling for energy because our body's just having to work really hard because it's carrying around this toxic overload. So really, if we can try to minimize the toxins that we're putting into our body and on our body, then our organs can do their job without having this, extra load that they're trying to deal with. Now in Australia, we come under the Food and Drug Administration, which only bans 11 ingredients from being included in our personal care, skincare and makeup products. Just by way of contrast, in Europe, they actually ban 1,300. So that's a massive difference, 11 versus 1,300. They're more progressive and obviously, can see the sorts of damage that these toxins are doing to our body, and have got much tighter controls in place so that the sort of ingredients that we don't want in our products are not being included. As I said before, 125 ingredients that are used in our personal care products are known to be linked to cancer, but a lot of them also affect our hormone function as well and have links to infertility. So the Centre for Disease Control actually did a study and found that the average person in the study had 212 synthetic chemicals in their blood and their urine. So it just shows how much these things are being absorbed into our bloodstream and circulating around, in our bodies. So just a word of caution, just be aware of shops that may appear like they offer healthier, safer alternatives, and also be aware of the labels. So for example, there are some shops that appear that they provide, products that don't test on animals, for example, or don't contain animal byproducts. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't still contain a lot of other nasty ingredients. So some of the products here that come from, a shop where you would have the perception that they are safe, don't still actually contain things like sodium lauryl sulfate and parabens, and PEGs are the common ones that stand out. So also just be aware of marketing. So sometimes a product will specify certain ingredients that it doesn't contain, and yet it can still contain others. So this particular baby product, for example, says 0% paraben and mineral oils. Now the companies obviously know that these ingredients are not good and people are getting onto it. So they're calling out the fact that their product doesn't contain those ingredients, and yet it still has sodium lauryl sulfate as the second highest ingredient and PEGs. So again, be really aware of the labels, because you can be tricked into thinking that a product is safe. I had a classic where my daughter actually was given some products from a dermatologist. The first product I picked up said free from sodium lauryl sulfate, petrochemicals, sulfates, parabens and fragrances. Now they've listed all those ingredients that they know are not good. I thought, great, awesome, a brand I can use and trust because it's safe. And yet I picked up the lip balm that she was given that she was told she would need to put on 10 to 12 times a day. One of the ingredients that they've called out, two of the ingredients they've called out in this product are contained in this one. The first is the highest ingredient. So it's got petrolatum as the first ingredient, and it also contains methylparaben. So again, this is a pack of 3 products. They've called out the nasty ingredients in 2 of the products, and yet in the one that she's going to be using the most and ingesting, it's actually got levels of those ingredients they've called out on the other products. So just be really aware of some of the marketing traps that the companies might use to trick you into thinking the products are actually safer than they are. So the bottom line, learn how to read labels, learn what to look out for with a Dirty Dozen. There are some apps that you can download that will give you a red, green and orange indicator so that you know which products are good to use and which are not, which is really helpful. Or even better, find a brand that you know you can trust, that perhaps is a European brand, for example, that actually bans higher levels of ingredients, so that you know that you don't have to stand in the supermarket or department store trying to actually read the labels. I mean, I had to actually take a photo on my phone and expand it to be able to read the labels of some of these products. So if you're in the department store or the supermarket, you really, are going to struggle to be able to read the labels. So that would be my top tips. And I really would encourage you to take this issue seriously and look at how you can try and choose products for yourself and your family that are healthier and safe. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to know more about the individual ingredients, please jump on and have a look at my other videos which go through the Dirty Dozen and in a bit more detail the sorts of products that contain them and how you can try and avoid them in your products.